Hi, everybody. Happy summer. This is Deb talking to you from finally summer in Chicago. And Jackie, and I imagine it's hot, hot, hot in Vegas today.
We'd like to call it El Fuego. Pretty darn hot.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about Atlanta Market. And as we said in our Facebook post, we've got a twofer for you, a bonus because Jackie is just home from Traditional Homes Hamptons Showhouse. So we're going to give you a peek inside the rooms that were done. So jump right in, Jackie.
All right. I'm glad to have you all with us today. As Deb said, we're going to go over two things. I was at Atlanta Market a few weeks ago and then at the Traditional Home Hamptons Showhouse. So we're going to start off with Atlanta Market. To be honest with you, there wasn't a whole lot new. July Market usually is not one for new introductions. But the one that really stood out that people are really anticipating is the Julia Buckingham collection for Global Views. And so we got a nice tour through the showroom and got to look at some of the product that she is putting out. It's a very unique look. It's all inspired by original pieces that she has in her showroom. She's Chicago based. I believe she goes between Chicago and Arizona, which I find a kind of a weird back and forth. But she works with a lot of antiques and then mixes them in, with regular current product to create a very eclectic look. It's different it's a very different look for Global Views. Very, like I say, eclectic. There wasn't a lot of rhyme or reason to it. There's some pieces that you will definitely recognize from days past. These little guys here are hat molds. If you look up her website, she has a really compelling concept for her design aesthetic, and her website, juliabuckingham.com, is well worth a visit to check it out. These are antique hat molds. In her showroom, she has like 20 of them stacked up next to each other. So these are things that she really has collected over the years, and then they have reproduced them en masse for Global Views. The colors are, sort of not the range that we've been seeing in the past, very sort of grayed hues, kind of aged looking brights, if you will. Just a very different look. This chair was a very interesting chair. There's only one print in the whole collection, which you see on everything, the wall, the floor, the chair. I guess that's like her signature teardrop print. A lot of very small sized accessories. And, if that's your thing, then you'll probably love it. But just sort of across the board, very, very eclectic. Not really a theme going through at all. Better look at that chair. Has a really interesting leaf motif on the back. And again, I think it's only offered, though, in that finish and in that fabric. So I think it has a limited application, obviously. Here you'll notice, if you're anywhere close to my age and Deb's age, your grandma probably had these on the coffee table in the 70s, right? Those onyx grapes. And she's got them in several sizes and several different finishes. So if that's a retro look that you're looking for, she's got it for you. A lot of very small scale barware. I think they really reproduced the things that she has in her collection verbatim. Didn't change it for scale or size or anything. This was an interesting sort of wall sculptural thing. Global Views does really well with those pieces. This was not Julia Buckingham, but if you've listened and seen any of our other webinars in the past, you know how we went crazy over the Global Views acrylic chairs. Well, now they've introduced a nice little footstool to go with it, little ottoman, which was really cute. So that was nice to see that they're sort of expanding on that line. As far as soft goods went, we're just seeing more and more textural, kind of rough-hewn stuff. A lot of emphasis on botanical right now, and especially green botanical and sort of natural motifs. So this was really the only standout that I saw that was different and new. Design Legacy, is a favorite of ours, and typically they go big and large. Well, they, have sort of shrunk down to mini art with this great eclectic wall. This is one of the trends that I'm really seeing come on super strong. I'll show it to you again in the show house, but it's definitely the art wall, back to the whole wall filled with all kinds of eclectic little pieces.
Mm-hmm.
We've had the huge statement art now for, quite a few years, and so I think maybe this is the natural progression back to a more eclectic, collected over time look. And they had a lot of these little pieces that you can pick up at Design Legacy, and a lot of them are originals from Kelly O'Neill. The other thing that they're doing, love this vignette, just absolutely adore the colors and everything about it, but now they're doing these very large custom canvases. So you can take many of their designs and blow them up on these very big canvases, which would be great, for today's bigger McMansions if you're doing, really big places and you've got a lot of wall space to cover. It's a really good option, very reasonable for that. And this was Two Hands. They had a really interesting setup of almost a potting shed, but it was really, I think, sort of a capsule of this trend that I'm seeing with the botanical coming back, but it's more about sort of an all-green botanical, a lot of succulents, a lot of sort of natural history botanical type motifs coming into play. This was the layout of it. I just love this. It's so eclectic and a lot of different motifs, but keeping within that same green palette that I think is really coming on strong. So keep a lookout for more of these botanical motifs coming your way. The other interesting thing that they had this market at Atlanta Market was the Portman White, who is the renowned architect from Atlanta, who built Peachtree Plaza and all of those Hyatt hotels with the round bullet elevators. He's very famous for that open atrium hanging plant style in the 70s. They put together a little gallery upstairs that was room vignettes, and I believe they had 10 different designers that came in and did these vignettes that were based on his signature white color, Portman white paint color that is apparently all over the market. Hard to tell because it's white. So, white's white. But so we're going to take a look at those rooms. This is our buddy Brian Patrick Flynn, who always does a great job. He's an Atlanta-based designer, and we feature him a lot. He is a TV producer, and he really knows how to design for the camera. So his vignettes are always really well put together. But just very sort of bold colors. I don't know what the assignment was for these rooms, except that it was supposed to use white, but a lot of them did sort of workspaces and, as if this was their design space. So you'll see a lot of bolts of fabric laying around and paint chips and things like that. Some did not do that, so that's where it got a little bit confusing. But he does a lot of very eclectic stuff, mixing mid-century modern, with a more sort of manly aesthetic. Another view of that room. Great lighting. I want to say this is Curry and Company, but I'm not sure on the lighting. And again, a big statement art piece that we're seeing everywhere. So his room was quite nice. This one I really liked. It was very architectural. Great chairs. You can see all the architectural plans back there, and even the desk, which I think is Worlds Away, I believe. Could be wrong. Has an architectural feel to it with line and everything else.
Look at how low those chairs are.
They're very low, aren't they? Well, that
Yeah.
seems to be the trend right now.
Ah,
I don't
right?
know. Yeah, it's like people have no legs. I don't know. But I did love this. They used architectural plans as the wallpaper and just tacked them into the wall. And it really was a very interesting way of covering the wall. I mean, if you had somebody that was into architecture or really any kind of prints and maybe you laminated them to make them a little stiffer and did that, it would be a really fun wall treatment and something you could change out really easily. Because they just used little brad tacks to put it on. This one was very interesting. They used this art that is all oyster shells under plexiglass, and everything was, white. They really embraced this designer. I don't know who it was. Really embraced sort of the concept of, white on white beautifully. I love the doors really framing the vignette because you're just in a big, giant open space. This one, very pretty,
Hmm.
just sort of a nice ethereal thing. And again, with the fabrics in the back, so it made me, and she's got paint brushes here. I mean, it's sort of a workspace, but not really. So I never really kind of got what they were going for in this thing. But it's nice to see room settings and see what designers are going to come up with. She had this wonderful inspiration wall. I'm a sucker, Deb, for the inspiration board.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I like to look at those more than the room itself, because you build your own sort of vision from these. But this was really
That's
pretty.
great.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah. Like the flower the best.
This space was crazy. I don't know what the guy was going for, but it was really visually striking in the room. And these back panels here were really very, very interesting. They were little pieces of paper that he had just creased and then stuck on with pins. This is just a painted backdrop, and they fluttered. They kind of fluttered in the wind. It was really an interesting way, I thought, to show up that white color, but it was almost like a sequin made out of matte paper. It was really a very interesting take on it. This is Michelle Workman. I don't know if any of you all are familiar with her her work. I am a terrible iPhone photographer. This room was beautiful. It kind of looks like a mashup in my photograph here, but it was really very pretty. And of course, she's using Fromental Delftware wallpaper that was just absolutely gorgeous. That's probably what sold me on the room, as I saw that and immediately went crazy. And with this table setting, this is a Taylor Burke light fixture in the center, and she tinted the room. So of course, since I'm a fabric geek, I love that, and I love the fabric on the table. This is another shot of that wallpaper. It's so stunning. It's so nice to see Fromental now all over the U.S. I mean, we never used to see it before. Now with their partnership with Curry and Company, we're starting to see it coming out into showrooms and things, and it's just so beautiful. I love it. This was her table setting. Just, it's so nice to see fabric in use, and fabric with some color and some print, Lovely table settings. We're going to see a lot of table settings coming up as well. So that was it for Atlanta Market. It's always invigorating to see everything, but sometimes you don't see a lot of new introductions. October, High Point Market, and then January, Atlanta Market are when they usually do their most of their introductions. So I got home from Atlanta, and then a week later I got on a plane to New York. And I had the opportunity to go to the Hamptons Showhouse for the first time. And it was really a very fun experience, just a blast. I've never been to the Hamptons before. It was drop dead gorgeous, also drop dead expensive, but really just a fun, great time and beautiful. This was the house's brand new construction. They literally laid out the sod, I think, that day for the thing. This is the, this is the dining room. The overall feel of this whole house is very ethereal, not a lot of print, a lot of seagrass, a lot of texture, Here you can see the rattan. That's a rattan light fixture in the front. Just sort of very ethereal looks, sort of across the board, really. This room was quite pretty in person. I love this acrylic bench on the one side of the table, and a lot of beautiful, beautiful table settings. You can always, look forward to that in these show houses. This was the kitchen. The kitchen was really gorgeous. The designer is from New York, and she used wallpaper up in these lighted top cabinets, and then she had a faux finisher that painted that same pattern here. And I thought this was a really great lesson in scale and how you really have to adjust your scale for the third eye, the third dimension, impact, and how something coming, receding, and going back, projecting forward needs to be a different size, because sometimes we forget that. So she could have taken the wallpaper from the cabinet and just put it underneath there, but the scale would have been totally wrong. And by having the guy paint it on there and adjusting that scale, it really fits the room really well. So I thought that was a very good touch on that room. Everybody in the whole house used a lot of tribal pattern. I mean, it's still very, very prominent, and a lot of geometrics, but then she paired it with this beautiful silk, and this was a metallic fabric on the windows that was really gorgeous. Here's the window treatment. It mimicked an awning looking out onto the covered patio. It was really very pretty. I would have done that as a cornice rather than a soft treatment because it was a little bit wonky, being that it's so wide. I think if she had done a cornice, it probably would have held up a little bit better, but it was really, really pretty. And I'm so sad I did not get a close-up of that side panel fabric. It was gorgeous. And you can kind of see over here, the faux finisher faux this wall and did, I don't know what kind of, it's like a chrysanthemum motif on there that was really pretty. There was a lot of faux finishing in here. I don't know if it's coming back or just in this thing too. And then notice the little dog bed. If you are making soft furnishings or specifying them, what kind of an upsell is that? That thing is so fantastic. It had little finials on it. I don't know if she bought it from someone or had it made, but it was absolutely to die for. And, that's just another upsell to your client. Think about those things when you're selling soft furnishings. People spend more money on their pets now than sometimes they spend on their children and themselves. So, having a coordinated dog bed or dog beds for different rooms in the house made out of the materials that go with, the concept of the room is really a great sale for you. Love the table settings were gorgeous. It's really very, very pretty. And of course, Kim Siebert, we featured her several times. Deb and I love her work. I got to meet her, Deb.
Oh, fabulous.
She was there. And I think all of the tables in the house were set with her stuff, and so they used her iconic seashell pattern here to tie in sort of that coastal theme. But you'll notice a lot of stuff going on here with all these geometrics and then floral and then squares. But in that room it worked. Really, it was very pretty. This was the entry hall, and this is Alyssa Greer. She is also a New York-based designer, and she, had a daunting job because it's a two-story foyer. It's all neutral, and again, grass cloth and things like that. But this settee at the bottom is from our friend Christian Drohan, and she was also there in person, so that was really fun for me. We love her. Just a really interesting settee design that fit perfectly into this little nook here. Lots of nautical objects, things like that. Again, I apologize for my really bad photography. This is the master bathroom. And it had very much of a spa feel. This one, it's kind of really Hollywood glam for the Hamptons, I thought. Very slick, very modern with the palm tree. A lot of metallics in this house, a lot of metallic wallpapers. This one was a silver palm leaf. Still, we're still seeing the alpaca benches and, a lot of things that I really didn't feel like anybody really stretched too far in this house,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest with you. This was interesting too. It speaks back to that trend that I showed you in Atlanta with the green botanical. Saw a lot of different things with succulents, air plants, all green, sort of natural accessories.
Interesting choice of wall art in a
Yeah,
bathroom.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it was, very interesting. It was sort of out of concept for the thing, but the color worked.
Yeah.
This was a
Right
great console, beautiful
on. Mm-hmm.
console. And again, with the, acrylic things. This bedroom, for me, a lot of the rooms were very sort of pat. Okay, it's a beach house, it's a beach bedroom. Aside from the army of seafish or, starfish, it didn't really sort of stretch any boundaries. It's a beautiful room, very pretty, very ethereal. But sometimes when you go to those houses, you really want to get some inspiration, something new and different and crazy, right? I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be more
Right, exactly.
experimental. So I showed you Brian Patrick Flynn before in Atlanta, and here he is again. Now he knows how to bring it on. A bright red and pink room in a beach house. This room was so crazy beautiful. This is his shot of the room. He is just an absolute master at designing for photography and for film. It always doesn't necessarily translate in the space. And I think that's happening with a lot of designers now, is that there's so much of an objective to get published and so many people have taken these courses from designers on how to get published and how to get in a magazine. And the first thing they teach you is you have to design for the camera. You're not designing really for the room. You're designing for that shot or to be able to move things to get that shot. And so sometimes it doesn't translate. So this is his shot of the room. And then these are mine. So it's much darker in person. It's really sort of eclectic. It was a great room, but the guy is a master at that. I don't know. But this one at least was bold and interesting. But again, look at all the tribal stuff. Tribal, 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 tribal,
Mm-hmm.
zebra, stripes. Here's the lighter version, and then here's the real version. Again, with the statement art piece, that's kind of pat right now. This was sort of the only really manly room in the place, which was interesting, but I thought that, it's bringing in that photo wall that I think we're really going to see coming back versus the one piece of art. For one thing, you're only selling one painting to somebody. If you're a designer, why not sell them, 8 individual pieces? And I think that, so we're getting away from that one piece, and I think people also are wanting their homes to look more representative on themselves and have more meaningful things instead of just sort of staged,
Right.
spaces. I think they want them to
Well, and then you
reflect
can
who
mix
they
it with
are.
mementos or personal photographs or whatever, so it can
Exactly.
kind of tell your story or somebody, it starts a conversation. So it's a nice mix. I love collage walls. I also
I
like
do
the
too. And
idea of that table under a table for some reason.
mm-hmm. But yeah, this with the little, put your coffee on that or whatever. I
Hmm.
mean,
And
that's
not ruin
very
the
well.
antique piece.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Buy the
Yeah, but
$99 wedgie stool.
yeah. Okay, this is our good friend Denise McGahan. Now, Denise took the only risk in the house, quite honestly. Well, Brian was risky too, but Denise really went for it. And she went for that memento wall in a big, giant way. And again, her room was really beautiful, and my photographs are terrible. But she is a very eclectic designer. She has a very unique eye, and she mixes things together really well. And there was a lot of fur in this house too, which I guess makes sense. It's in Long Island, so it gets cold in the winter, but you don't expect to see fur and velvet in a beach house. So this was a very, almost more of a wintry version of what you, I guess, would want. You know, still a lot of shell, a lot of coral. This shell table that you can barely see here next to the bed, and this wallpaper, which I didn't get a great shot of, but it was really beautiful. It's based on a tortoiseshell pattern, so it's like tortoiseshell but in green. It's really very pretty. This is oh my gosh.
fave.
Huh?
That's my fave. I'm a
Okay,
plaid
well,
person, so.
then why am I not remember his name? Oh, I can't believe it when I don't.
Is it Scott Meacham Wood?
Scott Meacham Wood. Oh my gosh. Sorry, Scott. He's a good buddy of mine, but he is known for his use of tartan plaids, and so he really got creative here with, you've got the chinoiserie, and you've got tons of color and tons of plaid, and this was the mud room, so it was fun, and and you know, at least it had some pizzazz to it. You know, some very interesting drapery there, and this little thing was really cute. The croquet set matched. That was really nice. This room was just a sitting room, again with the fur, tons of fur in here, and the quintessential, you know, sort of grass cloth, which was everywhere too. Didn't find this to be too exciting. The Madcap Cottage Boys are buds of ours, and they really hit a home run. They did their outside covered patio for Frontgate. Everything in the patio was from Frontgate, the online retailer. And that has got to be tough to put together something that goes with their aesthetic, which is this super collected, you know, eclectic, collected over time look with tons of pattern and sort of a mashup of antiques and new, but for them to pull all that together from an online retailer, I thought was really kind of amazing that they could do this. I mean, all of this is available on Frontgate. Now, if you get the Frontgate magazine, it does not look like this. So it just really impressed me, that their talent in being able to do that. But it was really cute and comfortable and playful and fun, which is sort of their vibe, you know. Love the drapery, obviously.
Love the tassels on the chairs.
Exactly. Just everything in here was from Frontgate. They told me that their table base broke and they had to go buy this downtown. It was a umbrella stand. That's the only thing in the room that wasn't from Frontgate. And these Delft containers were acrylic. They were so fantastic. I have to go buy some off of Frontgate. But even the elephant pillows they found, and that's their logo. I mean, so it was really kind of an amazing room.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very fun. Who wouldn't want to hang out there in the summer? And you know.
Right.
And then next to that was kind of the complete opposite. Very high-end, very chic, modern look. Love the umbrella. I mean, that's just so much fun. And it was like swishing in the wind, so it's like having a hula dancer over your head, you know. And so if you enjoy a more modern aesthetic, I mean, this was really very pretty. These chaise lounges were really comfortable and very fun. They were just like giant beds, really. Very, very pretty. And then we had the pool, and the pool was really gorgeous, and with a really nice pool house in the back. And this is the last room, and I really loved this. It was a tiny little pool bath, but it was sort of like Lily Pulitzer colors, but with tribal. And you know, who puts a tribal with a sailing ship chandelier? But it worked, you know. I mean, it was just fun, and she had a sense of humor. She's got the Greek god in the shower, you know. I mean, it was just fun, and with the little rubber duck, I thought she did a really good job on that. Whoops.
That's
And
awesome.
that's it. This was a quickie today.
Yeah,
But Deb
thank
and I
you.
want to remind you that today is the last day to get your early bird registration in for High Point Market. Do not miss this event. Every day, Deb and I talk about new and more exciting things we're adding to it. It is going to be the most fantastic thing that has ever hit High Point, right, Deb?
Absolutely. We've got some great surprises coming up if you're going to be on our tour.
It's going to be amazing, but you know, you get a decent discount if you sign up by today, and then the price goes up. What is the discount price, Deb? And then the
It's $15.99 for 5 nights, 6 days. Is a regular price, and I think it's $14.29 early bird special. And trust us, you guys cannot find a hotel. First of all, if you're lucky if you can find a hotel right now for October
yeah,
market, and but to go on your own for that price is probably going to cost you more.
exactly. So it's a bargain, but you get all of your meals pretty much. You get all of your
Hmm.
transportation, private parties, VIP parties, meetups with design celebrities. I mean, it just goes on and on. Our itinerary is pretty amazing. So if you are interested, please sign up today because that price is going to go up. So you want to get that break. I hope you guys are all having a great summer. We'll be posting what our next Take 10 will be soon. Probably it'll be a recap of Vegas Market, which starts on Sunday. So I've had
Right.
nothing but markets all summer long.
And
But
that
it's fun. So enjoy your summer. Thanks for taking time out of your day to hang out with us, and we'll see you next time. Right, Deb?
absolutely had one quick question from Mara, and she wanted to know who was the designer that did the plaid mudroom, and it's Scott Meacham Wood, and he's out of San Fran, and he's kind of known as the tartan king, if you will, for lack of a better
Yeah,
word.
his blog is the Tartan Scout.
Right.
Great blog.
Great blog. And I believe he's got a new line of, is it furniture or something coming out? I can't, maybe we'll
Um,
see it in
yeah,
Mall Market
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that actually went
is
through or
happening.
what.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Happy summer. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye, Jackie. See you
Enjoy.
on Sunday in Vegas.
Oh, awesome, Deb. Bye.
Bye.